Hi boys and girls, it's Mrs. Colligan, and today we are going to go back to that plot mountain and talk about a story map. You can also see this PowerPoint as a slideshow. I know some of it kind of goes off the page. So watch this before you complete the assignment, okay? So we've talked a little bit about this. We introduced it before. There are certain elements of a story, and we call all of those events of the story a plot. And we can actually diagram that and make it something visual. So here's some notes for you to follow. The actual definition of plot is the organized pattern or sequence of events that make up a story. If you think about the story of Number of the Stars, most of you can tell me what happened first, next, then, and last. Those are the events of the plot. There's always a series of incidents that are related to one another. So this you've seen, and we've called it the plot mountain or the plot diagram. And you can probably identify what 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are just based on some discussions that we've had in class. But the very beginning, we call that the exposition. And basically, we meet the characters and we learn about the setting. Typically, the main conflict is introduced, but not a lot is going on. To help you remember the word exposition, think about exposing. So the setting and the characters are exposed or revealed, and you get a hint at what the conflict is going to be. Number 2 is the rising action. And if you think about the story Number of the Stars, you can imagine how each incident built upon the last one, and the tension increases and increases until we get to where we're climbing up to the climax or the turning point. This is the event of the story that determines what's going to happen in the end. Finally, as things begin to settle down, we get to the falling action. All the little things that we didn't quite put together are all tied up in this section. Somehow, that climax is resolved, which leads us to the end of the story, which we call the resolution. Now, we don't call it a solution because it's not always a happy ending. And if you think about some of the things that you learned in Number of the Stars, we know that even though the war is over, not everything ended happily. This is a great visual for you for the plot diagram or plot mountain, and we call it a plot mountain because if you look at the rising action to the climax to the falling action, it kind of looks like a mountain. Here's another great example for you. And remember, you have access to this as a PowerPoint right here in this lesson.